So good morning, friends. Today I thought I will give a talk on the famous book Little Prince. So the aim of all my talks is only to demystify spirituality. So we also should look at books which explain to us spiritual knowledge in the simplest forms. And since to explain directly these things are difficult, they are normally presented through allegorical stories. So this Little Prince also is one such book. Can you see this? The Little Prince book. The author is Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. In fact, I first came across the mention of this book in Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. The front pages of the book, it is written, "Into the world of Saint-Exupéry, another, I forgot that exact, but another book, let us leave like that." So I was curious to know this, and then only suddenly I found out this book. And immediately I did not realize, though I got this book and I was reading, I suddenly realized that it is the same book which was given in the front page of Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Of course, later editions, I don't know if it is still there, but the very first editions, it used to be there. So what I will do with this book today is I will read two stories from this book and give the allegorical interpretation. So I at this moment should have to thank my masters who reveals to me these secrets in points of deep meditation. So I express my gratitude, I bow down to them, and I hope they will reveal me more and more secrets whenever I read something very profound. So let us read this book. So this book goes like this. Once when I was a 6-year-old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book called The Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the art of swallowing an animal. Here is a copy of the drawing. So please see the drawing and also the drawing in the bottom. Okay. In the book it said boa constrictors swallow their prey whole without chewing it. After that they are not able to move and they sleep through 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply then over the adventures of the jungle, and after some time with colored pencil I succeeded in making my first drawing. And the drawing number 1 is what you saw in the bottom. This looks like a hat, right? I showed my masterpiece to grown-ups and asked them whether the drawing frightened them. But they answered, "Frightened? Why should anyone be frightened of a hat?" My drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, I made another drawing. I drew the inside of the boa constrictor so that the grown-ups could see it clearly. And they always needed to have things explained. My drawing number 2 looked like this. So see this drawing? Sorry. Can you see this? The elephant inside the boa constrictor. The grown-up's response this time was to advise me to lay aside my drawing of boa constrictors, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself instead to geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. So the spiritual analogy is when masters try to teach you the spiritual things, the elders will tell you these are of absolutely no use. You better do something which will give you some money. So exactly the way people who are inclined spiritually are told. So the same way when somebody gets interested in things beyond the normal common what the common people do, they always say this is useless. Okay, so that's what is given up also. Then he says, I gave up what might have been a magnificent career as a painter. I had been disheartened by the failure of my drawing 1 and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves It is tiresome for children to be always forever explaining things to them. So he did it at the age of 6. So as a child, he has to explain. And why they have presented a child also? Because child is one who has an open mind and can easily grasp the spiritual things, because not biased. If you are biased, then you are unwilling to accept things beyond your common knowledge. So a open mind as a child has is important to gain spiritual knowledge. So I'll skip a few things and then I'll go to the next one. Then he says, whenever I met one of them who seemed to me at all clear sighted, I tried the experiment of showing him my drawing number 1, which I have always kept. I would try to find out if this was a person of true understanding. But whoever it was, he or she would always say, that is a hat. Then I would never talk to that person about boa constrictors or pimeal forest or stars. I would bring myself down to his level. I would talk to him about bridge, golf, politics, and neckties. So you understand, these common things are easy to discuss, but when it's something outside the common realm of discussion, others will definitely, not wanting to raise themselves to that level, ridicule you. So that's what is happening here also. So he said he'll then not talk to them, but he will again come down to their level and talk ordinary things. Then the next story also I'll explain. It's for you to just understand how the spiritual interpretation is valid. So he was living his life alone. And then the first night I went to sleep on the sand, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. Thus you can imagine my amazement at sunrise when I was awakened by an odd little voice. It said, if you please, draw me a sheep. What? Draw me a sheep. Okay. So that is the little prince presenting himself and demanding this sheep. I jumped to my feet completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard, looked carefully at around me, and I saw a most extraordinary small person who stood there examining me with great seriousness. Here you may see the best portrait that later I was able to make. So I'll go ahead and show you that picture. So this is the picture of the little prince. Now I started at this sudden apparition with my eyes fairly staring out of my head in astonishment. So it goes on, story. When at last I was able to speak, I said to him, but what are you doing here? In answer, he repeated very slowly, as if he were speaking of a matter of great consequence. If you please, draw me a sheep. When a mystery is too overpowering, one dare not disobey. Absurd as it might seem to me, 1,000 miles from any human habitation, and in danger of death, I took out of my pocket a sheet of paper and my fountain pen. But then I remembered how my studies had been concentrated on geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, and told the little chap, a little crossly too, that I did not know how to draw. He answered me, that doesn't matter, draw me a sheep. So I'll show you also the drawings of the sheep he made. See? 1, 2, 3 sheep's drawing he has made. Why I have this difficulty of positioning the book is because in a mirror, the same direction you move, but in a camera, you have to move in the opposite direction. So that's why. So these three sheeps you see, and having drawn this he is not satisfied with any of the sheep. He says, I want a sheep that will live a long time, because he thought the sheep which he has drawn is too old and something like that. By this time, my patience was exhausted because I was in a hurry to start taking my engines apart. So I tossed off his drawing. and I threw out of an explanation with it. This is only his box. The sheep you asked for is inside. I was very impressed to see a light break over the face of my young judge. That's exactly the way I wanted it. Do you think that this sheep will have to have great deal of grass? Why? Because where I live, everything is very small. There will surely be enough grass for him, I said. It is a very small sheep that I have given you. He bent his head over the drawing. No, so small, not so small, that look, he has gone to sleep. And that is how I made the acquaintance of the little prince. So let me try to, what is the explanation you will have in mind for the second part of the story? Second part of the story says you cannot have any idea of the sheep you want. That is, you cannot put your ideas on how God should be or what spiritual nature should be, or this is the typical structure a master should be. Like, many times it's a big problem. Master does all sort of nonsense, and you have a great idea of what great God is, and when the behavior is not within your concept, you think that is not God. So identically here, when the person had drawn the different sheep, they did not match with his idea. So he said, no, this is all not valid. But then the second stage, there is a little more deeper interpretation. When it is a box, your mind is an open mind. It could be any sheep inside. It should be any idea you can imagine of. So to understand the spiritual nature, it is important that you have an open mind. That is what is brought out by the second story. So I hope you would make an effort to get this book and read. I think it is easily available also now. It is in your digital versions. Please read, and if you don't understand something or you can't get a spiritual interpretation, if I know it, I'll tell you. Otherwise, you'll have to deeply ponder over and then you will finally get it. Thank you.